the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Well, hello, my beautiful people of YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, or X. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and today we're going to be discussing the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger. This is related to the Moscow University murders out of the University of Idaho. This is where Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle lost their life in the early morning hours of November 13th. Since this case broke, this case has rocked the world. People wanted to know who could possibly be responsible for the brutal slaying of 4 University of Idaho students. Since then, on December 30th, Bryan Kohberger was arrested and charged with the crime. One of the first things that came out was the affidavit of probable cause, and that was released to the public. And many people in the public read it online for the first time and had that immediate shock value, like I did on my channel, the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. And when we learned that Dylan Mortensen waited 8 hours to call law enforcement, it confused a lot of people. It made a lot of people angry or upset and concerned whether that delay cost one of the victims their lives. Now, granted, fast forwarding to now, we know that that was not the case, that no matter what, all 4 of them would have most likely succumbed to their injuries no matter what time the 911 call was made. However, there was a lot of confusion with that 911 call, predominantly when and why, because it came in right before noon on November 13th. However, it was reports for an unconscious person, and many people understand stabbing type of injuries and had to imagine the brutality and the blood that would have accompanied that kind of attack. So it left a lot of people very confused about the 911 call of the unconscious person. So we knew that there were people at the house before law enforcement arrived because Lieutenant Lanier stated so, and also cleared every person that was at that home very quickly in the case because there was so much focus on the students in and around the 4 victims' lives. Since then, many want to know, what did we miss? Did we miss anything? And I think with everything going on the way it did and everything moving at a fast pace, we did miss something. I pray that everybody here on today's show is here to learn something new or maybe remember something that they forgot about. God bless each and every one of you. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories channel. Wonderful Saturday evening. We strolling into Saturday like, what? Hey everybody, it's nice to see you. As we know, the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger case is heating up, and it's heating up a lot. A lot of stuff is starting to be released. This is going to heat this case up. It's kind of been dormant for a little bit because we couldn't get any information from the courts. It was going through quite the process. We covered what we could, but many of you guys don't know that me and Chronicles of Olivia were out there and did in-depth gathering of information about a lot of different things, including but not limited to whether the kids were responsible. Now, one of the things is thank you, Melanie. God bless you. She's saying, good evening, Betty, Delilah, mods in chat. Love to all of you. God bless you. God bless you. We did a lot of in-depth research and did a lot of searching because there was evidence missing. They didn't have a lot. They didn't have the knife. They didn't have at this time. This was several days before Bryan Kohberger was named as the subject responsible or allegedly responsible for the heinous and brutal stabbing death of 4 University of Idaho students. Our channel, the Bullhorn Betty channel, was the first ones that ever showed up at Washington State University before mainstream media or any other social media to ask, is it possible that somebody went to that school? And at the end of that, I said, yes, it is possible. Never ever knowing that Bryan Kohberger, who he was or that he was responsible at the time. It was very interesting because, quite frankly, I was drinking coffee and we were at a coffee house and we were staying in Washington State because it was cheaper for all of us, for Olivia and I to stay in Washington than it was in Moscow, Idaho. Also at this time, I used to call it Moscow. So it is the pronunciation is Moscow. Not Moscow, like Russia. I think Moscow, Russia. Is that right? Or Germany? I can't remember. Whatever. I'm not good with it. Oh, be great. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So I don't have a whole lot here, but I have enough. And we're going to be going through the footage. And some of this footage has never been seen. Some of it has, but some of it has not. And a lot of the Chronicles of Olivia stuff and statements I never really produced. It's just, thank you. Who was it? Truth in Time. There you go. There you go. I knew it was something. I knew it was something. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader, but I am smarter than a high schooler. Okay. I'm just saying. Oh, I got my battery. Hold on. Let me make sure my battery's charging. So I figured we'd start off with the plane. There's the trip to Boise, Idaho, right there. Getting ready to land. It was very, very cold. And there's Olivia. This is our second trip, by the way. I've got to go back and try to find our first trip. I'm going to go ahead and delete that and move on to the next one because and this was before the vehicles were removed. We were also there for that, and that was a mess. Do you see that? There's a lot of snow, slush, everything. This was very, very dangerous because of that slope that goes up to the apartment complex, making it very, very slippery. Very, very, very slippery. This is before the gate ever went up. This was still a crime scene. This was many weeks after the kids were murdered in here. And it was very sobering, very somber, and very, very real. You felt it. It's something I cannot describe. Being on these cases in person, you feel things. Okay, I don't know if it's instinct, intuition, if it's just certain vibes that we don't want to believe exists out there, but you knew something bad had happened. You felt something bad had happened. Yeah, coming here, we still haven't eaten yet. We just pulled into town. And when we pulled up here, one of the first things you said sitting here is what?
That I felt like crying. That was the first initial feeling that I felt when I saw the house.
And explain why you're feeling so emotional.
Because it's people that were my age, younger than me actually, and it's just creepy. I'm sorry, but just seeing this house is giving me horrible vibe.
This is the first time we saw the house, and this was Olivia's first statement. This would have been our first trip there.
It's just to think that something this horrific happened in that home and we're just standing outside of it is just painful, and the fact that they haven't found this killer is even more painful, and it's just so upsetting. It's just, yeah.
Gotcha. And that's kind of the extent. I mean, it was brutal. Guys, give me just a second. I am so sorry to do this to you, but give me just a second. I got to go grab something real quick. I don't know what it is, but when I'm in this office doing something, Delilah, it's the only time Delilah stays in her bed. So there, if you guys have never met Chronicles of Olivia, I definitely highly suggest you guys go check out her channels. She is an amazing producer of content. She puts together many documentaries, but her craft, she is literally at the level of Hollywood producers in her production of the content that we acquire when we're out in the field. It's absolutely amazing. If you really want great content and information, I'd highly recommend Chronicles of Olivia. Chronicles of Olivia. So I'm out here in front of 1122 King Road, and here's the site right here. Everything. They've got all the cars. They still have this considered a crime scene, so nobody can pass the police tape. The police line, do not cross. They cannot pass that. But getting back to what I was talking about on my lives, this is the parking lot. This is the road that goes right behind this home. This is where they believe Bryan Kohberger parked in the back there, kind of watched. You can kind of see when the lights are on, you can kind of see through those trees. And we thought, in all fairness, at the beginning of this, we thought he got into, you'll see when we get up to the window, there's like a brick standing out one of the windows. So we naturally had just assumed that the breach into the home was from that window. It was not. It was the sliding glass door. So I don't know if he jimmied that sliding glass door or they just forgot to lock it. But he was able to get in through the sliding glass door, and the sliding glass door goes right into the kitchen and enters on the second level. So when you enter the home on the back side, you're entering the home on the second level. When you enter the home on the front where they're parking, you're actually entering on the first level. And you have to walk upstairs to get to the living area, which has the living room and the kitchen and two of the bedrooms on either side of those. This house is no longer, it has been demoed. Right there with the balcony. And then there's the bottom second floor. And then down at the end, there's the bottom third, or the first floor. I'm not sure why they have a couch out in front of here, but this would have been the prime example right here. Somebody just being able to lay in wait right there, or any of these places. But this looks like the prime area to watch what's going on the second floor. So this is somebody, and this house is not really secluded. It really isn't. You got all these cars back here. You've got this road and this apartment complex. Oh, I must have stopped I must have stopped. Sorry. I don't know where the other half of that is. So hello, YouTube. We are here. And as you see behind me, it is snowing. It is falling on me. It's pretty intense. We got probably about, 3 to 6 inches of snow out here. We are in Idaho, looking into the Idaho 4. This is the killing of the 4 university students, and I'm stepping literally in 3 to 4 inches of snow as we speak. It is cold out here. Many of you guys saw me on the live out in front of the house at 122 King Road. It was freezing, but very little snow. Today, the snow is falling. You're seeing it catching on my my jacket. We're going to be back out there today. Many of you guys know, no matter what the conditions are, when we're here, and we are working. We've got a lot of stuff planned for today. We've got some interviews that we are going to be having today scheduled. Excuse me, I just stepped down. And we've got a lot of good content coming out. We are going to be going to a lot of different places, including law enforcement, to talk to them. We know people are already out there trying to say that we are somehow causing problems. Yeah, we're somehow, I don't know why these things are dropping off halfway through. They're full videos. Oh, you know why? Because it's only allowing the videos to play so long. Hold on. I've got to take these off. We're probably going to have to watch them a different way. Hold on a second. Let me take these off because that means you're not going to be able to see the full video of the interview that's coming next. Hold on. And why am, oh, because I'm there. Okay, there I am. Give me a second. Let me put these up in a different manner. Oh no, we don't want the footage. We need downloads. I just created I got 11 items here. That's why it keeps cutting off. Sorry, guys. Open, real-time player. We'll see if they all open together. I'll play yeah, they are. So I'll have to figure out which ones to play. All right. Let me see how to present this, what the best way to present this screen is. The entire screen, and I won't be able to share. Share tab instead. It's only going to make me share the tab, but it won't show the tab. I bet you guys won't hear this. See if I can run this over here. Let me know if you guys, it says to share audio, share the tab insert, but it's not giving me a tab insert. Mother clucker. I get so tired of StreamYard. All right, let me try to see, because the next one's an interview, and I might not be able to show you because it might cut it off again. So let me see if I can put it back up for you guys. I wish it would just play the crap I needed to play and be done with it. Okay, let's see if we can get this whole thing in here. Hopefully it comes in correctly and doesn't. Let me see if it. Okay, it does have. This one does have all the minutes in it, and this is the next one that I'm going to be playing.
All right, Olivia, go ahead. Okay. So I want to ask you, Jeremy.
And I want to remind you guys, this is raw footage, okay? This is not edited, so you're kind of getting a peek behind the scenes and how we do things. Now, what we do behind the scenes isn't always what you guys see when the product is done. Typically, we take out all the mistakes. We take out all the, questions that we asked or insignificant. And we parse it down. So this is raw, unedited footage behind the scenes as you guys know it.
I'm trying to think of. So where, just like the factual stuff, I guess, first. Where were you the night of the murders?
Now, if you guys recognize this guy is Jeremy. If you guys followed the case of the Idaho 4, and the reason why it was called the Idaho 4 and not Bryan Kohberger is because when this case started, we had no clue of a Bryan Kohberger. We didn't know who had done this. And so the tag was the Idaho 4. Now, this right here was a neighbor that came forward and did an interview. And of course, the sharks of these social media platforms attacked him. This man had absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing to do with it. People are off base when they cover these cases because they're too busy worrying about the wild conspiracy theories than they are about the facts of this case. We knew before we went out there, this guy had nothing to do with it, and we had never met him yet. That's how so far off base some people were. They attacked this man, tried to ruin this man. He's just a student for, for everything that's holy. So people need to set, instead of accusing people just to see how they react, come with some flipping receipts. What people do on these social media platforms when they are clueless is cause damage. This is a person we never deemed a person of interest and in the slightest, and how anybody could make the stretch that he was just because he did an interview on TV is insane.
My house in bed.
And
Let's just start it over by the beginning. Hold on, it's just 27
Okay,
seconds.
I'm Jeremy.
All right, Olivia, go ahead.
okay. So I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, trying to think of, so where, just like the factual stuff, I guess, first, where were you the night of the murders?
My house in bed.
And what is something, I saw the Reddit like thing that you had posted, and I understand your frustration. What is just something that you want people to know right now? Like I don't want this to be like I don't want this to be like all the other interviews. I want this to be like different. So what is something that you want, like, is there a message that you want to get out there? Because we will help you get that out there.
Yeah.
Or something that, because I watched your Ashley Banfield interview, is there something that like you wish that she would have talked about but you didn't have a chance to because like it was rushed or something? Or
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, I wish I would have been able to say on there that sleuthing can ruin people's lives. Luckily, I have a thick skin. I can handle whatever internet trolls throw at me, but other people can't. And so in the future, it's just like, hey, be careful and cautious. Plus, like the thing on Twitter of, I don't even remember their name, absolutely nothing to go off of. It's like, he won't give DNA, and it's, the cops haven't asked me for DNA. Yesterday they came, they interviewed me. They asked if I would give DNA. I said absolutely. They didn't bring
Hey,
the
Miss
kit with me with
Heyman.
them because they don't bring the kits unless they're anticipating getting DNA. And so the officer asked if he could call me again. I said absolutely. So if I don't get a call from him in the next couple of days, I'll just go down to the station myself and give DNA. But just starting these rumors of he won't give DNA when I was never asked. Most people aren't going to willingly give up DNA for something. That's not happening on a frequent basis.
You're not the only male that lives around here. I mean, I see that this is like an apartment complex that has 3 different layers or levels, and we got houses over here. We got another like quadruplex over here. So you're not the only guy in this area either, right? I mean, and you're not the only guy that's ever hunted in this area that lives in these apartments and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just the only one that had an interview go viral, and so that's why people are coming after me specifically.
Now you went to bed. About what time? I know they're going to probably ask. So about what time did you come in and call it a night that night?
I was in my house pretty much all day. I don't really do a whole lot unless my friends invite me out.
Right.
So I was just already in my house.
Just chilling.
Yeah, just either watching TV or playing on my phone or something, sitting on my couch.
And you weren't up running around town at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Nope, I was in my bed asleep.
Okay. What has the environment been like around here since everything has transpired?
People are quiet. People are really quiet. They've just sort of disappeared, and it's just different.
Right. And you have probably some friends around here that live in and around this area. Can you tell me how what they have expressed, like their feelings since all of this has happened?
So I don't have any friends in this immediate area. I have a friend that's...
Oh, thank
like
you,
a
Lady
block or
for
two down.
Justice. God bless you.
He seems to be mostly unaffected just because he's far enough away from it. But yeah, the people in this area, I've said it, I don't talk to them, I don't know them. I see them walking by and I recognize them, that's it.
Right.
And so I don't know how they're feeling.
Right, yeah, but I can imagine that the morale is really low around here. People are probably nervous, scared. I'm sure you probably are scared yourself, even though you're dealing with all this drama from, you know, the social media world. How has this affected your daily life?
It hasn't really. I mentioned the very first interview I did that I have started carrying a weapon on me. At this point now, it's more for the sleuths that may or may not try and come after me in person, more than the killer. But that's pretty much the only.
That's pretty stinking sad. I gotta say, you know what? We're dealing with a lot of this. Now, you have to understand, we recorded this stuff in 2022, between November and January 2022. Sounds very familiar, does it not? It sounds almost the same as what we're dealing with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Anybody that comes forward gets threatened, yada, 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 right? So you're going to probably identify a lot of things that he has to say here.
The only thing that's changed is I went from not carrying.
Sorry, I turned my microphone down a little bit.
Weapon on me again.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, and you seem like a really docile guy. You seem very friendly, very approachable, you know. And I just, to be honest with you, when we heard that you were getting this kind of attention from social media that was really, really negative, we really wanted to come out here and help you. I mean, we personally have looked into you ourselves. I mean, there's nothing there. There's nothing to look at. You know, you're just a kid trying to go to school. I shouldn't call you a kid because I'm a little older, so I apologize. But you're just somebody trying to go to school.
Yeah.
So, how does the whole social media, you said you had thick skin, but I know in the back of your mind it really has to be bothering you just a little bit because these people just don't know you. And they're saying some wild accusations with absolutely not a scintilla of evidence or fact. And you yourself just said, if they come to you and ask you for DNA, you're happy to provide it.
I was willing to give it yesterday, but the cops didn't bring the kit because they weren't anticipating getting my DNA.
Right. And so far, like, if they really thought you had something to do with it, I would imagine, has your apartment been raided? Has it been searched or anything like that?
If it was, they didn't move anything because it looked the same when I got back after Thanksgiving break as when I left it.
Right. So, again, what would you like the audience to know about you and this? For example, you were just really trying to help. Like, you were trying to tell your side, because, I mean, this house is really close to a lot of these buildings, and for nobody to hear something, you know, I guess it sparks a lot of people's emotions, and of course, their conspiracy theories. How could nobody hear? But this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. A knife was used, and
4 o'clock in the morning.
And the roommates downstairs didn't hear it either. I don't know how they expect people.
The reason why we were using 3 o'clock in the morning is because law enforcement wasn't giving us all the information. They gave us a time range of when they believed that this assault occurred. So if you're wondering why I'm saying 3 a.m., it's because that's what we knew at that time. That had changed when new information came available, predominantly the white Honda, or Hyundai. When they started talking about the white Hyundai Elantra, that is kind of when we started hearing more details about specificity of time when the actual assault they believe truly occurred. And they gave it a time between 4 and 4:25. We've parsed that down to I can't remember the time we parsed it down. It was after 4:12 in the morning, but they believed, and I think by 4:20 he was walking out or driving away from the unit. They actually believed that he was able to murder 4 people in less than 9 minutes.
From through the house, through another wall, and plus, 30, 40 feet?
Yeah.
If the roommates didn't hear it, I don't know how anyone else would hear it. So
Yeah.
I don't know why people are saying, well, how didn't you hear anything? Because
I think now that some of the call logs are out, we now know that the roommates were scared, but you know, I don't recall them in any of their texts talking about screaming, which, you know, that almost tells me surprise. But even surprise, when you turn around and you're shocked, you kind of automatically yelp. It just seems so bizarre that all that was ever caught that we know of, now that's up for change as well, but for everything that we know of, um, it's hard. All we heard was cries, some mumbling cries, captured from what law enforcement told us. Is there more than that? We don't know until trial. Everything's been kept from us, but we collected a lot of useful information at the beginning.
There was nothing to hear.
Right. Does this house usually have music playing at different hours of the day and night? Is there a lot of people that come in and out of that house that you're aware of or have seen?
I mean, typically, as I said, though, the music was usually pretty self-contained.
Okay.
They would open a window when it was during the warmer months, just so that it didn't get hot in there, and you could hear music as you're walking by.
Yeah.
But if you were inside your apartment, you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, and we're going to definitely get this out there. I don't believe you had anything to do with it. I thank you so much for your time. Let me ask you this, and this is kind of off record. Let me just take that off.
Oh,
This is off
hold on,
record.
hold on. If I can't, it's probably, if it's off record, it's off record. That I've got to take. I got to honor that. But this one is funny. This is, you guys are going to get, let me see if I can just get past, see if there's any more.
From various gatherings and parties or classes, I don't know. Again, we don't know anything. This is all just my personal speculation. But I would assume that it was probably someone that either knew them or
Okay, yeah, I don't want to. Well, we'll finish up his theory.
was familiar with them at least.
Familiar with him. So he was fairly accurate on that. This one, you're kind of going to get, you're going to think it's a little funny because this lady, I'm just going to speed it up. This lady was seen like lurking. I wish I could get a good image. She's like creeping by and side-eyeing us, and I happened to capture it. And I was looking through my footage, and I'm like, holy smokes, this lady is like literally creeping. She's taken slow steps and all. I'll play it in full, but I wanted you to see what I was doing. Like, she is like watching us, side-eyeing us, seeing what the heck is going on. So I'll play it because it's just like a 3-second clip.
What it feels like to
Look at her.
feel like
She's just
everyone-
creeping. I am like looking at that earlier, when I was setting this all up, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world is going on here? Let me go to the Idaho. Okay, here we go. Let me add this one, and we got 2 more, and then we'll probably kind of call it for the day. Sorry I couldn't play you that whole thing, but when things are off the record, I need to kind of keep things off the record.
Hey y'all, Bullhorn Betty. I'm here at the Moscow Police Department.
Moscow.
We came here to get a few records related to, obviously we're not going to be entitled, nor do we want any records related to the case at hand with the 4 deaths. However, we are looking for other information here, primarily some of the activities that went on in that house, any incidences where officers had to be summoned over there for a number of reasons. We're checking on that. We're also checking for the Sigma Chi fraternity house. We want to know what was going on over there. So we're asking for any kind of incident reports, any kind of audio, any kind of body cam footage.
Now, that's what I call doing due diligence, okay? I don't know what some of these other people here on these streets call due diligence, but when we go on a case, we dive in very, very deep. We pull public records, we check out the information. If law enforcement is releasing information, we check it all out. Hey, sweetie pie, it's nice to see you. The real me too. It's me, Jen, Sonia, the Mod Squad. It's nice to have you guys here. I miss each and every one of you guys so much.
So we are looking for this information. We will let you know if and when we receive it. They said it could take up to 3 days to fulfill a request. We should be here and we will be getting those requests. So just stay tuned as we work through this process. God bless.
And it was not, let me repeat that. It was not 3 days. It took forever. We got over 1,600 documents. I don't know how many videos. We will be going over this whole case. We've got a lot of content that nobody has seen, that we, even the records request, after we got them, something had happened and we detoured off this case a little bit and never got to those record requests. Well, now that we're ready to we're getting geared up to go to court, we've got a lot of stuff. that nobody has seen, and you're only going to see it here on the Bullhorn Betty channel when it comes to this case.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. So I am right here by Arboretum. I've never been able to pronounce that right. And the Botanical Gardens. This is one of the spots that law enforcement was telling was a key place of interest for people to be looking out and finding out whether or not people had videography, photos, any kind of incidences, evidence of any sort at this location. This one right here. What I find odd is right through these trees.
Why does it keep cutting it off?
Through the trees right over here,
Okay, that's fine.
sorority row. This is where all the sororities and fraternities are. And here is one of the spots law enforcement is looking at, looking for information, looking for more videos, more photography, any kind of digital or physical evidence related to the perpetrator of the murders of the 4 university-aged children near the University of Idaho. Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan were all murdered inside their home while they slept on November 13th of this year. We've heard, and law enforcement has been giving us a lot of press conferences and keeping us up to snuff on what is the goings and comings of the investigation with the information that they can release to the public. They are stressing right now that the public is not the target and not in danger.
Thank you, Tony.
While many people feel very uncomfortable with that response from law enforcement is working around the clock to bring this perpetrator to justice. This is one way we can help. If anybody has been in and around this area here, right, please look at any of your video and photo equipment on your home, on your car, or otherwise, and see if there's stuff there. Upload it to the FBI system. They now have a system open so you can submit your digital evidence directly to the FBI.
Isn't that a cool little process? You don't even need to talk to them. If you have something, you go to their website, they had a link, you uploaded the information you wanted them to see, and if they needed further information, they would reach out to you. I thought that was an excellent, an excellent program that they did for this. I don't know if they do that for every one of them, or just in this area, but I thought that was just absolutely excellent.
Do that if you are in this area. And again, like I said, sorority row right over there. There are sororities. Even Sigma Chi is right past that brown house. And I find it very odd that Sigma Chi is near this location. And we know that Ethan and Xana were at that sorority. We know that the fraternity, rather. We know for a fact that there was law enforcement out at that fraternity, Sigma Chi, around 3 a.m. on the 13th, at the time when their classmates were being murdered in their sleep. So I just find this area very interesting. I think this kind of solidifies more that the perpetrator, at least in law enforcement's belief, is somebody that actually went to the college, either has already graduated or currently in college. I don't know what kind of monster could do what they did to the 4 people inside that home. Again, Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. I have no clue what kind of person could think that this was how they should handle whatever is going on in their life. It is just sad. Right before the holidays, we are out here. It is a lot warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday was about 20 degrees. Today we were at 37. So we're doing all right out here, but we are getting the content. We are seeing this stuff, and we are going to be dealing with this fraternity here in just a little bit. God bless.
All right, guys. So that is just the little bit of content that I am willing to show you today. I'm going through the content. And Tony decided to help Bullhorn Betty's broken hooked on phonics arboretum. Arboretum. I think this It happens. I don't know what it is. I remember used to, my dad used to take his little thumb, is like, just find the words and then just put them all together, and and it always worked for me. But now that I'm getting older, I don't do that. So I found you guys 11 videos. We are going to start just kind of refreshing. We're not going to be running this case every single day, but I want to start refreshing your mind, because you all need to be very familiar with this case. The bottom line is when this happened, nobody knew who it was. It was a needle in a haystack. There was a lot of I don't even know if there was a lot of evidence. I mean, I have to believe that there is. I can't imagine something using a knife, blood, arteries, things like that. I can't imagine that it was not a gruesome crime scene of some sort. Now, what really does have me kind of just confused all over the place is the 911 call, the text back and forth, but really the 911 call, like, they obviously saw one of their friends unconscious. Were they so out of sorts with her being unconscious that they didn't see the blood or the multiple stab wounds? It leaves a little more questions than answer. I don't want to I don't want to victimize the surviving victims. So, we have questions that only they can answer, right? And will we ever have those answers? I truly don't know. I'm sure that that specific answer, will come out, because I'm confident that Bryan Kohberger's attorney will be asking those questions when those ladies are on the stand. This has been a crazy case, y'all. Um this was a very hard case. Like I said, it was very upsetting um for Olivia. She was around the same age, but also Kaylee Goncalves followed Olivia. It was Steve Goncalves that reached out to Olivia because his daughter frequently watched her and frequently talked about her and frequently talked about her work. That's how they found her. That's how we had an opportunity to um have an interview with the Gonzalez family. We had an interview. This was when Olivia was still pregnant with Kaylee's niece. I can't remember how many months pregnant she was, but she was not too far off from delivery and going through this major tragedy. I can't imagine how much that stressed her sister. And of course, when a mom is stressed, it stresses the baby. But the good news is the baby was healthy and the baby is doing very, very well. Obviously, we haven't seen Olivia since she was pregnant. At least I haven't. And I'm pretty sure that her daughter's probably, now 1, 2, by the time I'll see them again, close to 3 years old. I mean, that's just that to me is insane how much time has gone by, and they're still trying to seek justice for their sister. What other people don't know is that family immediately jumped into action. That family was the ones that found the exact time Kaylee and Maddie returned home. They located the Uber driver. They, talked to people. They got the security footage showing that they were there. It was her sister that found the Twitch video of Kaylee and Maddie ordering from the grub truck, grub whatever, The family jumped into action and was working almost faster than law enforcement when when they found out their family member was murdered. It was it's very hard for me because they found out that Kaylee was deceased by social media. And I don't ever think any parent should ever find out that way. There has got to be a way for law enforcement to notify and identify people a little quicker. It's not fair for parents to learn such a tragic news by social media. Um, that's one thing I think that we've got to support the Gonzalves and the Gonzalves family in trying to change that for the betterment of the victims, because they were victims. Okay, they thought their daughter was safe, and a maniac, an insane person, took their daughter out. And they had just spoken to her. You know, she was just telling her mom they're a very close family. I can't imagine how awful this is for everybody. I mean, Kaylee and Maddie were like sisters, and they were inseparable. Their families, it's not Mogen family anymore, but I can't remember what her mom's last name is, so I'm just going to refer to them as Mogen, not to be disrespectful to her mother or her stepfather that really loved and cared for her. And we need more stepfathers like him. And I just apologize, I can't remember their last name, so I'm going to refer to them as Mogen. And that Maddie was her only daughter. That was her only child. And they became this blended family because of the friendship Kaylee and Maddie had for one another. Um, it's just it's hard, but if they were going to go to the other side, they went together. So, I try to find the silver lining in anything, and that's the only thing that, in those moments of fear and scare, they had each other, they had each other. And it was sad. So we're going to have some more content. We still have them trying to go in there to clean, and then them pulling up and pulling immediately out. That's the date that they did the Bryan Kohberger subpoena, warrant. They went into his apartment at the Steptoe Apartments. We have all of that. And then we were invited to the Celebration of Life by Steve and Christy, and we went there for Maddie as well as Kaylee Goncalves to their personal celebration of life, where we got to meet both of their boyfriends that were also unfairly accused of doing terrible things without one scintilla of information. So that's what I have for tonight. We're going to keep going. I just want to thank everybody that came here. We're going to go ahead and do the mullet party. Why not? It's Saturday night. What's Saturday night? So Melanie says, good evening, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. Love to all. Amen to that. Be Great says, hello, my friends. Well, hello to you, my love. Lady for Justice, thank you so much for the super sticker. Pamela, thank you so much for the super sticker. It's me, Jen, gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Jen thank you. Welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. You are going, i.e., the Insane Asylum. And Eeyore Blues, thank you so much for the super stickers. Guys, I'm glad you guys came by. I know there was a lot more better topics to go over, but I think because we're going to be going to this trial, it's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of time, and I think you guys will be very interested in it. This was definitely, I am very curious to find out what they truly have. We need to go over the probable cause affidavit again, because many of you are unfamiliar with exactly what they are accusing Bryan Kohberger of. So anyways, guys, stick around here. Thank you for letting me bend your ear for a little bit, and we will continue to roll out some good, raw, behind the scenes footage that you are not going to get on any other channel, but right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel when it comes to the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger. God bless each and every one of you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. And more importantly, say it with me, kind to one another. God bless. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.